Hi there. This is Dr. Aruna Tummala here talking to Candy. Candy and her daughter are here. They've been working with me since March of this year and April of this year. Yeah. And we've had a wonderful journey of healing and recovery. And Candy's here to talk about their experiences. Go on, Candy.
Okay. Well, I thought that maybe I'd start by just sharing what I first noticed was maybe different with my daughter. Even when she was younger, she was more anxious than her twin sister. She worried a lot. She was a really deep thinker, which is good and bad. She was very concerned about the feelings of others, and that affected her greatly. Fast forward to elementary school, and I noticed that she found it much harder to sort of go with the flow. She second guessed herself often, and it usually would have a negative effect. For instance, she would get overwhelmed by homework, and then she'd just shut down. Sometimes she'd become really argumentative, and then ultimately she would just alienate herself, and then began to self-harm. At first it was pulling out her hair, but eventually it evolved into cutting her arm repeatedly. I finally felt like I didn't have another choice when I ended up reading her journal, and she was talking about wanting to die. At that point, we had her evaluated, and she started an IOP program at a local psychiatric hospital. During that time, the psychiatrist there had put her on several different medications. They had her on sertraline, buspirone, prazosin, something else I can't remember. Both my daughter and I felt like the IOP program, as well as the medications, weren't really having much of an effect. And so it was at that point that I had heard of Trinergy and Dr. Tummala. We scheduled an evaluation, and during that time, Dr. Tummala really took her time to educate both of us about changing eating habits, as well as the importance of different herbal substances, supplements. We're now about 6 months, I guess, from when we started, and I guess I really feel like my daughter has made some amazing changes. She seems to operate from a less negative space at this point. She's more communicative. She's less argumentative. She is somewhat more social. On the whole, she just doesn't seem to get down on herself as much as she used to. And when she does, it just doesn't go as deep. And it doesn't last as long. Dr. Tummala has also weaned my daughter off almost all the medication she was taking, aside from a small amount of a basic antidepressant and some herbal supplements. My daughter is no longer taking any of the other medications. The changes that we've seen since we've been coming here to Trinity has been nothing short of life-changing for myself and for my daughter and for our family. So thank you.
Thank you, Candy. Thank you very much. And I must say, with everyone that experiences benefit in my practice, it is really because people understand the nature of the illness that is ailing them. There is no chemical imbalance, at least there is no conclusive proof of it. And even if there is a chemical imbalance, we do see sometimes that neurotransmitter levels may be off a little bit, but that is not the root cause. As we saw with your daughter, the root cause was really the inflammation that was beginning in the gut. Of course, there are psychological causes, as we discussed, and the sensitivity that she is born with, which is a blessing, but was proving to be more of a challenge for her. But being young, we needed to help her channelize her sensitivity so that it is truly a blessing for her. And as we have discussed, I do expect a lot from your daughter. But going back to the whole inflammation hypothesis, that is what we saw, that unfortunately the diet that most of us consume is not only causing inflammation in the gut, but it also creates nutritional deficiencies. So when I see young children having what we call as mental illness, whether it is depression,
Right.
anxiety, or symptoms of ADHD, to me that is a toxic, irritable, nutrient deficient brain and body. And besides the psychotherapy that we have engaged in, it is really about putting these big changes in life, giving up some of the foods that were possibly very addicting, making a sincere effort to stick to the lifestyle program, getting up at the same time, engaging in exercise. And your daughter has been more than a willing participant in all of this. And so have you guys. As a family, you all had to make those changes. And so, I mean, it really is that. It's, it's the consequence to this awakening that you all have had and to the changes that you have made. And as I share this with everyone, becoming healthy is not rocket science. It's very simple. It's about being consistent and truly understanding how this mind-body system works and working along with it to be able to express ourselves to the best that we can. So, and yes, and your daughter has not had self-harm behaviors. She's happier. She's doing really well this academic year. And because the medications became superfluous, they really had no role to play anymore. And that is why we have been able to take her off of the medications while still having the benefit. And as we discussed, as you continue to participate in this diet and lifestyle program, not only will she be able to find her own mental balance, she will also recover from her allergies. And any other, all these little medical issues that young people, now that she's in the pubertal age, acne, all of those issues, menstrual issues, everything we will be preventing all of those things from happening. And it really goes back to taking care of our mind and body system. And I know that your daughter will carry these lessons into the future with her. So, yeah, I'm just as pleased. So thank you.